back. Took a few days, cleaned the shop up a little bit. It was getting pretty destroyed. Needed to kind of reset. So I think the next step is going to be figuring out these toe panels or the floorboards. So I think I'm going to try to turn the car all the way upside down and then maybe lower it down. So we shall see how that works. Right now I've got this one holding it, but I can't remember if I got the back one or not. Let's see if it goes anywhere when I loosen this one up. I wish I had the crank wheel. I can access this panel pretty well. Might have to come down a little bit, but it's not bad. Might just go ahead and turn it all the way over. I did flip it all the way around, upside down, you saw that. And then the original position I was at was here. I just marked the top of this. So the actual bolt hole was here. So you can see how far down I dropped it. I did that on either side. So, and I've still got room. That's about as far as I can rotate it. Excuse me. That's about as far as I can rotate it at this lowest level. But I mean, I'm holding the camera kind of below my chest and I can reach very easily the entire section. Pull this rotisserie over out of the way and work on it little by little. But I've also got, not only do I have those guys showing up, today's Sunday, I think they're showing up Wednesday, but I've got a Chevy C10 truck show. It's an end of the year truck show. If you haven't seen it, I got videos on my channel about the restoration I did on my old square body pickup truck, but it's in that building. It's a 1978 chassis on a 1980 body. I did a full restoration on with the exception of the exterior. I kept it all patinaed. Check it out if you want to see that, but I would like to move this over and pull the square body in and do some final cleaning on that before we go to the show this Saturday. So quite a few things going on this week, so I'm not sure how far I will get on the rust repair. Gosh, I just need to put like a vibrator on this thing. But I'm not sure how far I'll get on the rust repair, but I'm at least going to start. It's actually been like probably the better part of 2 weeks since that last conversation we had. A bunch of stuff came up, so unfortunately I haven't had a whole lot of time to work on the car. Luckily now I do, so I'm back out here again on this fine Sunday morning for me, and I went ahead and flipped the car over and got it back upright. I did a lot of thinking and planning on this, looking at it. I think the best way to start with this, at least the toe board, is going to be with it sitting like this. I don't know if it's just I feel more comfortable like this or what, but I'm going to try it like this instead of having it flipped up on its side, just to kind of see how it goes. maybe once I get this toe board welded in, because that's kind of where the bracket is that holds the car up. I'll feel better once I get the strength back there to actually have the car on its side and do this section. So the only thing you missed really was me turning the car over, and then I just took the plasma and cut out this section to take a better look. As you can see, this structure is welded to the toe board that I'm going to replace. Now, I'm not coming up all the way up here, and this is also welded in down here and down into the rocker. So a lot of the strength will stay. I'm only coming probably about midway, so I'll have to pull that panel off from the inside. So if you can imagine that panel is kind of right here. So I'm going to have to peel that panel up, because you can see there's some rot here. Peel the panel off and then finish cutting this section out. And I'll probably just come over and tie it all in here. But it'd be nice to have this off, and then I can clean it all out, treat that inside of that bracket really well. Excuse me. Treat the inside of that bracket real well, paint it just like I did the last ones. So I think I'm going to do it like that. That way if it feels weak, once I start cutting it out really a lot more than that, I can come under here and put some cribbing up and support this corner of the car. That way it doesn't get too weak and start to sag right here. So we're going to try that. So that's what I'm getting started on today. Gonna get in here with this little plasma cutter. I got this little thing, I think I got it off of Amazon. I don't do anything crazy and thick, so I just wanted something that I could easily cut some sheet metal. I've just got it sitting on the bottom of my little welding cart. That's what it's called, in case you want to look it up. It was pretty cheap when I bought it. I don't know what they're running now. Looks like I still have that's what I've got. I don't know what model I've got. Looks like I've got the 50 PV12. So I've got that bottom one. It'll do 110 and 240, or 110 and 220. I just run it off 110. Like I said, I'm not really doing anything strenuous with this, but it's a cool little machine. Just hook air up to it, plug it into 110, and you got a ground and this bit. So it's pretty cool. Makes a good clean, non-messy, I guess I should say, cut. Save some cutting wheels. I won't be able to use it for everything, but I'll be able to use it for stuff like this. I stopped here because this is that brace, so I'm going to have to kind of take this out in sections. So let's get started and try to pull this off carefully so I don't mess up that bracket too bad. I got some interesting things happening. I showed y'all the toe boards that I bought. You can see the ribs, and those match up with the firewall going forward. I ordered those because, as you can see, the floor pans typically stop like right here, so it's like another 6 inches. They go forward, and that's considered the firewall. I ordered these pans, even though they don't look like it, they're new, so long ago, and that's silly me. I didn't even pull them out to look at them. But if it was just a pan, it would have stopped right here, and you can even see the little indentation. That's where the firewall and the floor pan originally overlapped. But I guess this pan was sold as a full floor pan, and it actually goes all the way forward. Now, at first I was like, man, I'd have messed up. I'd have bought 2 of those and I didn't need them. But as you can see, I cut out more than what would have been covered by just this pan because the rust in this particular area came up that high. So I still need those toe boards. Now the question is, do I install this pan fully and then just use a patch of the toe board to cover that section, or do I install the whole toe board and then just cut this top half of the pan off and lap it in like an original pan? I don't know, I'm about to ponder on that one a little bit. As of right now, I'm kind of thinking I put the toe board in because I just think it'll add more structure to it, because I'll have a nice fresh toe board that'll be attached to my body mount bracket completely, and then I can overlap those like they were originally and just cut this excess off and put it in. So that's kind of what I'm thinking so far. I also didn't realize how high it came up, which is good. And of course this is just kind of set in there. All this floor pan's still in there, but it comes all the way up to the back and up on the transmission tunnel, at least a third of the way up the transmission tunnel. But the reason I brought it in was because I wanted to see how far over this thing came. It looks like it comes all the way over to where the sill plate and the rocker and everything are, so I know I can cut out this little section, which here I'm gonna throw you up here for a second so I can pull this out and show you what I was looking at. So this is kind of the way I was doing it so far, and this is the reason I wanted to pull that pan in there, because this is the floor pan and it's rotten right here, and I wanted to make sure, because I have to get this out of the way because the toe board goes underneath of that. So I was wondering if I could cut this off, and it looks like I certainly can because it covers the complete flat. It doesn't wrap down, but that's good underneath. So at least in this section, I'll probably come back here, not only to get it out of the way, but to get rid of this rot, cut it off flush, and then the new floor pan will come in right here, and that'll give me good access to do this new toe pan. This is the bracket, the back side of the bracket for the body mount. I'll have a nice good spot welds coming through here. It's a little bit rotten around the corners. And it's a little bit rot in this corner, so I'll probably end up cutting that out and just replacing it with a little small piece of metal just right here. Probably this I'll probably just round it off because it's not too bad, and of course I'm going to treat everything, so it should stop all this going forward. But those are the only little spots that were starting to rot. This is just the floor pan, so I got to cut that little tiny section there off. But let's see. Yeah, I think the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and finish lopping this off, and then I was kind of seeing how high to come up so that I could replace my original floor pan. So it looks like so I could replace the original with the aftermarket one. It looks like the aftermarket one kind of stays in this height, so I don't want to come all the way up here and cut my floor pan out. I won't have any to replace it. I think if I stay in this area kind of low, so I could come in here, cut this out, bring it up like that. Something like that. I'll have to see how it works out, but that's kind of the idea right now. That's what I got right now. I'll probably skip the next time lapse because, like I said, there's no point y'all watching time lapse after time lapse. So I'll kind of figure out what I'm doing here and jump back in after that. So I kept working, doing a little bit of the same stuff. The shop is an absolute wreck. It's hard to get it on camera, but it is just devastation. Tools everywhere. Layers and layers of rust. But anyways, and metal Chevys, man, I've got them everywhere. I've cut a bunch of metal out, as you can see. I've got, man, I got to turn the fan on here. Rust dust everywhere. Drilled out some spot hole. Well, I didn't drill those out. I actually used this little burr bit and just got in around it. And that, man, that thing came out great. So I might continue to keep using that. But as you can see, I have a little bit more of the car gone. Empty. So ended up going ahead and, well, I got that fitted. Then I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and finish cutting this. I cut this member out, this mid brace. There's usually a brace just like this, but here, that one's rotten. I can't remember if I showed you, but I do have a new mid brace. So went ahead and cut that one out. Got it out from underneath here. It's so I can weld it on like this one is. Hopefully you can see that. There was a rotten patch right here, so welds aren't great, but it'll hold. Do that little patch in. This one I have to take off. That's what this panel was, because I'm salvaging this brace because it's in pretty good shape. So I got to take the brace off of that side, and I'll put this whole brace here. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I got the whole floorboard out. It's not fitted or nothing, but I've got it close to where I'm going to put it back in. So I'm going to probably call it a day. I'm going to do the same thing I did here. I'm going to go ahead and spray some Ospo on this brace so that it can dry for 24 hours. And I can go ahead and paint these areas since they'll be covered up. So I didn't want to weld anything in until I had probably a 2-day period of Ospo paint and then another layer of paint. Then I can cover them up. That way I know they'll last a lot longer than they would if I wouldn't have done anything. So sorry if I'm filthy, but this is just nasty work. You can't even see it, but there's just like this haze in the shop. I should have had the door open and the fan on. I typically do, but it's a little chilly. Yeah, here's the new panel. I do have that fitted already. I got Clecos all drilled and ready to weld that one in. I'm just treating that area first. So that's how I'm going to leave it today, and I will be working on it this week, hour by hour. But I cut this brace out that I'm going to repair, so I think today it is Thanksgiving for me. I don't know what time it is for you guys. I'm trying to get a few videos under my belt, edited, and then I'm going to start releasing them. I'm going to try to do it every week, so that's the reason the time frames are kind of off here in the beginning, but hopefully I'll be doing them and they'll be pretty consistent with what's actually going on. But for right now, it's Thanksgiving, so happy late Thanksgiving to you guys. I'm out here this morning before we go down to my mom's, so I'm going to try to get a little bit of work done. That brace is still up underneath of here, and before I put the floor pan in, I need that brace here. So I think this morning I'm going to work on getting the brace off of that side the same way I did it on this side. And then I have to salvage this metal the best I can. So I'm going to have to get in here and play nice to try to keep this top transmission tunnel, because my new panels don't have the full transmission tunnel. Now, it's not the end of the world if I do have to replace this metal. But I'd like to keep it at least. But we'll see how bad it is once I get in there and start getting the spot welds off of it. Hopefully there's only a couple there, so I won't have to damage it too bad. All right, as you can see, I just got the center panel brace cut out. It was a little bit, hold on, let me cut the radio off so I don't get copyright. It's a pain in the butt having to do that, but not like it matters. I'm not making any money, but yeah, I got this center brace off. Metal was pretty bad right here, and then that one was sort of bad metal, sort of my fault, but the rest of them came out pretty good. I just came in from the, I believe it was something like this, actually. I guess it was something like that. Yeah. Alright, so that's pretty much how it came out. I took the tool of choice, once again, is this little burr carbide bit. I mean, it throws a ton of little metal shavings out, and it makes an absolute mess, but it does seem to do the quickest, easiest job of getting those spot welds out without destroying the metal. And I'm even being kind of sloppy with it. I could get better and not have, you know, this little bit here, but you know, it is what it is. Got the bottom brace off. I won't grab it, but it's over there somewhere. Looks like this metal's okay. I got one little weak spot right here. That brings up another thing that I've been thinking about inside this rocker panel. So got my rocker panel, and then I got the cap on the inside. So this is all hollow. Sorry, rocker panel, cap on the inside. This is all hollow. And while it was sitting outside, I guess mice got in here either through this hole or through this hole. Those are the only two holes in the panel. So I'm assuming probably that hole. Everything else, this panel is almost completely sealed in. And of course, the mice have got in there and chocked this thing full of mice nest crap. And I don't have any way to access the inside of that panel to get it out other than just shoving an air hose in there and blowing it around. But there's stuff in there too big to come out. So, kind of speaking about this rust hole, and then the rest of this metal is all pretty good. I'm thinking, I spoke with a guy at work, gives me some pretty good ideas, and he came up with the idea of taking a hole saw and putting like 3 holes in it. That way I can get all of that stuff out. I can get in there and treat the metal, and I can get in there and paint it and maybe put some, I don't know, some type of protectant inside of it so it doesn't start to rust as quickly as it typically does. And then, since I did a hole saw, if I pick the right size, I can get those rubber plugs, like a firewall plug or something. I don't know which exactly you call them. The only time I've used them is in a firewall. But a little grommet, and I can put it in, and that way it should keep the weather out. I can even put a little silicone around it if I want to. But not only would that be more of a clean look, I can actually go back later on and pull those plugs out and service the inside of the rocker panel. So I was originally just going to cut a little access panel out, clean it, and then weld it back in, but I actually think that might be a better way to do it. Just do those 3 holes and then put the rubber plug back in it. So I think I'm gonna do that, and now would be the time to do it, because when I have this panel out, I'll be able to run the drill straight in, nice and clean, and have a ton of room, versus when the floor pans are in, I can't really get the drill in there very well. So now would be the perfect time to do it. So I do think I'm going to do that before I weld the floor pans in, drill a couple holes in here. Maybe three, maybe 4. I'll probably do 3, maybe 4. So that's something else I'm going to do. But anyways, speaking of that, since that's got a little bit of rust in it, I'm going to drill those holes anyway so I can get in there and not only clean out the rat's nest, but I can treat this from the inside out and paint it and hopefully stop it from going any further. So that is, I think, going to be a good way forward. So back to right now, this is pretty much ready for me to test fit this brace I've got. So if I didn't tell you what brace this was, this is a GM A-body, well, that one says GM A-body 64 to 69 full floor pan brace center. And then this one says it's a 64 to 72 GM middle floor pan brace. Maybe they're the same design. I did stick this up already, and the only thing I noticed that was different, was that this nut was on the opposite side. So on the stock brace, it was on this side, and then on this brace, it's on that side. I cannot remember what that does. It's all the way up here, and it's a little, the nut's right there. So it'd be at the edge of the seat next to the driver's and passenger's door. Originally I thought maybe it was a seatbelt mount, but the seatbelts don't mount on that side. They mount in the center, and then up top it's got a belt that comes over. Maybe that's a mount for if you only had lap belts. That could be it. Maybe we just figured it out. Y'all comment below if y'all are experts and know what I'm talking about, or know what this is, but maybe that's what it is. If you only had lap belts, that was the one side of the lap belt mount. So if it is, I don't think it's going to be a big deal that it's 3 inches difference. So they probably just made this panel universal, but we'll see. I think that would make sense. That would be the lap belt on that side, and then I've got 2 on each side of the hump, and they're at the same size. So maybe that's what it is. But anyways, this panel, I can remember which way it goes. I think it should go something like that. So what I'm going to work on now is locating it the best I can and get it really, really darn close. And then I'll use my Cleco kit. They're going to stay. It'll fall, I'm sure. I'll use my Cleco kit and locate this panel and get it fitted. And once I'm happy with the fitment, then I could take it back out and then finish the treating process for these 2 pieces of metal that I just did. And then I can put a coat of paint on these 2. And then that'll probably wrap me up for having to get ready for Thanksgiving. Got the mid brace Clecoed in, fitted how I needed it. Everything lined up pretty good. I got 1 Cleco on this side because I drilled it at an angle, but most of the Clecos are from the top side. But yeah, I think that's pretty much going to do it for today. Finally seeing some new metal on the car, even though it's not welded in yet. Starting to give me some hope. Go enjoy some good Thanksgiving dinner. I don't know when this is coming out. Hoping like January, February-ish. So if that's the case, comment below. What did you have for Thanksgiving other than turkey? Actually, you know what? What's better, turkey or ham? Leave that comment. I know my answer. Whew. It is a brisk morning here in Virginia. Came out this morning a little early. Turned the heater on. Turned the fan on. Trying to get the temperature up out here. So I didn't have to work in coveralls. You probably can't tell. It looks like it's 55 degrees in here. When I came out this morning, it was 50. So it's on its way up. As soon as I get working, it'll be bearable. All right, I got the floorboard fitted. Again, this is all surface rust, so I'm going to clean all of this up and treat it. But it's a new panel, believe it or not. You still see the sticker on it. But anyways, got it all fitted. A couple Clecos in it to locate it. Now, I think I'm going to take this back out and install the toe board. Time lapse finished, and I kept going a little bit. I'm filthy. It was basically just the same thing, so no point in sitting here for an hour and recording. Got the toe board, of course the car's upside down at the moment. Got the toe board welded in, cleaned up all the welds, so that I can paint it. I figured I'd show it to you before I painted it. There's the toe board. While I had all that equipment out, I went ahead and did the brace. I don't know if you can see that side, but I got that side welded in, and then this side welded in. So these 3 spots are ready to paint. I'm gonna flip the car back over, wipe everything down real good, and shoot a coat of paint on it. I was like, what the heck was that? That's that tiny little bit of play. Because I don't have these bolts like cranked down super tight. I just have them tight enough where they won't actually come loose. So when I flipped it upside down, that was just this going down like a tape of it. Made me worried. I thought it was going to fall. Alright, in case you were wondering what it looks like from the top side, I'll show you before I wipe everything down to paint. Doesn't look too bad. At least it doesn't look like that. All painted, couple coats on there. Still wet at the moment, but I would say that still better than that. Might not be perfect, but hey, just bringing this car back to life, little by little. Got the new brace welded in. I don't know if you can see it, but I painted that as well. That's painted up on both sides. Of course, I'm keeping this brace, so eventually whenever I uncover that, I will treat it and paint it just like I did this one. So I got fresh braces. Now I got a passenger side toe board. Now that guy's going in. Whew. It's cold. Well, I interrupted that video because I was just editing it, getting ready to head out for some parts, and realized that I'm actually going to have to split this video in half. It's a little bit too long. I try to keep the videos under an hour so you guys stay somewhat entertained on my small YouTube channel. So this is going to be part one. Part two is coming next week. I'm trying to do every Sunday around 5 o'clock. That video is going to be the completion of all of the body work. Well, all of the floorboard work. So stay tuned next week. That's what's going to happen. But for this video, that's where I'm going to wrap it up. Actually, a little side bit. I'm getting ready to go on a side quest. I might have found the powertrain for this Chevelle. Completely different direction than I was originally going to take it. So y'all stay tuned for that. But I appreciate you watching. Thanks. Maybe give it a subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see you on the next one.